Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the story of two people and their epic battle over the very soul of the city, a fight that literally shaped the streets you walk on every single day.
You know, this one question, it's at the heart of everything. It sparked a monumental battle that would go on to define modern cities. On one side, you had this incredibly powerful builder with the grand vision of concrete and steel, and on the other, a writer who saw the city's true soul in its messy, vibrant streets.
So, first up, let's meet Robert Moses, the quote-unquote master builder. This guy looked at the beautiful, complicated chaos of New York City and didn't see a home for millions of people. Nope, he saw a blank slate, a slab of marble for him to carve his grand, orderly vision into. I mean, this quote tells you everything you need to know about his philosophy. Progress, to him, meant massive scale, cold efficiency, and above all else, making way for the automobile. He had immense power, and he saw communities not as living things to be nurtured, but as obstacles to be, in his own words, hacked through.
Okay, so let's just take a second to understand how powerful this guy really was. Moses held 12 unelected positions at the same time. He ran these powerful authorities like they were his own personal kingdoms, complete with their own money streams and even their own police forces. And get this, he literally wrote the laws that gave him all that power in the first place.
Now, what's really important to see here is the human cost of all that power. This number, it really highlights the price people paid for Moses' vision. We're talking about more than 60,000 people displaced for just 1 mile of his Cross Bronx Expressway. That's 1,530 family homes, countless businesses, all just wiped off the map. This was destruction on an absolutely massive scale. But then, a new voice started to emerge from the very neighborhoods that Moses was targeting. And her name was Jane Jacobs. She was a writer, a mother. She had zero formal training in city planning. But she had something Moses didn't, a brilliant eye for how cities actually work.
So the thing you got to get is their philosophies were polar opposites. I mean, you couldn't get more different. Moses was all about top-down order and efficiency. Jacobs saw the magic in bottom-up complexity and diversity. He put cars first, she put people first. He wanted to demolish and rebuild, she wanted to preserve and adapt. One saw the city as a problem to be solved with a bulldozer, the others saw it as a living, breathing organism.
And this right here brilliantly illustrates her core idea. She called it the sidewalk ballet. You know, that intricate, unchoreographed dance of everyday life that happens on a busy city street. She argued that this constant flow of people, these eyes on the street, was what really made a neighborhood safe and vibrant, not some giant, isolating superhighway.
For Jane Jacobs, the messy, chaotic, unpredictable part of city life wasn't a flaw that needed to be fixed. It was the city's absolute greatest strength. It was life itself. And trying to force some rigid, artistic order onto it, well, that was just missing the entire point of what a city is supposed to be.
Now, this clash of ideas wasn't just some polite academic debate. Oh no, it exploded into an all-out war over one single project, a project that would decide the fate of Lower Manhattan and really set a precedent for cities all over the world.
This was supposed to be Robert Moses' final masterpiece, the Lower Manhattan Expressway, or LOMEX for short. He saw this thing as absolutely essential for the city's economy, even if it meant plowing a 10-lane highway right through the heart of some of New York's most historic and beloved neighborhoods.
And of course, he had some very powerful friends. Big-time business leaders like David Rockefeller were right there with him, arguing that LOMEX was just necessary progress. They saw it as a way to clear out what they called blight and, modernize the city.
But for the 2,000 families and the 800 businesses that were right in the path of that bulldozer, this wasn't progress. This was a death sentence for their community. The human cost, yet again, was just staggering.
So Jane Jacobs goes to this public hearing, and she immediately sees that it's a total sham, completely rigged. So she decides to take direct action. In this now legendary moment of defiance, she led a grassroots rebellion, stormed the stage, grabbed the official record of the meeting, and just tore it to shreds.
Well, that move got her arrested, but what was supposed to shut her up actually did the exact opposite. City officials were furious, and they decided to make an example of her, upgrading the charges to really serious felonies. But all that did was turn her into a folk hero and rally massive public opposition against Moses and his tactics.
And in the end, David beat Goliath. It's true. Jane Jacobs and her community of activists, they won. LOMEX was officially defeated. So that's a clear victory, right? Well,
In the bigger, ongoing battle for the city's soul, the question of who really won is a lot more complicated.
The truth is, we're living in cities that are profoundly shaped by both of them. Moses, well, he built the bones of modern New York, the essential infrastructure, the bridges, the highways. But Jacobs, she gave the city a soul. She forever changed how we think about urban life by fighting for community and human-scale design. But their legacies are still really debated. Moses is criticized for the destruction he caused, while Jacobs' ideas have kind of, ironically, led to the gentrification that makes the very neighborhood she loved unaffordable for so many, a strange paradox we see playing out in cities all over the world.
And that's why this battle between Moses and Jacobs isn't just history. It's a live debate, and it's happening right now in every city with every single new development project. It forces all of us to ask that same fundamental question: what kind of city do we really want to live in, and who gets to decide